one of London's most dangerous gangsters. Hold on. He said he the most dangerous. One of them, at least. Let's see what's up. Like, comment, subscribe. Late nights on the kick. Come kick it with us. Squeeze reacts. Hold on.
Police in London are investigating the murders of a 7-year-old girl and her father. They say the little girl has been shot in the back.
This is Tony Ann Byfield, 7 years old, shot in the back, and the youngest victim of the escalating gun violence in Britain. The same killer shot her father, a convicted crack dealer who survived.
Tony Ann didn't live in the flat. In fact, she was only here by...
I hate when they do that. Like, when somebody died, you gotta bring up his past. Like, a convicted crack dealer. I hate that so much, bro. You always gotta do that. He got killed. Why you gotta throw that in there so some people can be like, oh, he's a drug dealer. Who cares? Like, no.
By chance visiting her dad for the weekend, and she almost certainly died because she was the only eyewitness to her father's murder.
In this video, I will discuss one of the most horrific stories that has ever taken place on the streets of northwest London, residing in the borough of Brent. This is the story of Tony Ann Byfield. Tony Ann Byfield, a 7-year-old girl, was living with her foster family in the city of Birmingham. On September 13th, 2003, she stayed with a person who she believed to be her father, a known Jamaican gangster Bertram Byfield, who also went by the street name Blacka. Blacka was believed to be Tony Ann's father. He was a convicted drug dealer who was convicted back in 1997 for drug possession. However, despite being an ex-offender, Tony Ann was allowed to see him, going from Birmingham all the way to London. Now more on Blacka. He belonged to a drug cartel back home in Jamaica. Blacka was also affiliated with the notorious British link.
Alright, that's why they do it. Oh, I thought he was a little, I thought he was nickel and diamond or some shit. My son was some Jamaican mafia, nigga. Hold on. Oh, I thought he was nickel and diamond. Nigga said he was locked up. Oh, Joe, I thought he was outside trying to get it. He was one of them.
Up crew and had ties to gangsters residing in different parts of the United Kingdom and Jamaica. Now back home in Jamaica in June 2002, he was there for 3 weeks on a visit to his kids. One day he attempted to collect a debt of £25,000. While he was there, he was shot numerous times at point-blank range by a Yardie gangster and almost died due to his injuries. But luckily, he survived.
Damn.
As he returned to the UK despite surviving the brutal attempted murder, he was still involved in selling drugs, mainly both cannabis and crack cocaine, to local street dealers with whom he had made connections. Now going back to the British link-up crew, it was
big ass head. Yo, this nigga, look at this nigga's head. Light bulb head ass boy. Hold on, light bulb head.
founded by Owen Clark, who went by the street name Father Foul.
Father Foul.
In 3 years, Trident has seized 450 guns and 7,000 rounds of ammunition. They've found 960 kilos of drugs and over £800,000 in cash. They have 2 proactive teams that target key criminals, trying to stop the flow of drugs and guns. Trevor Gardner's team is working on their biggest case yet. 45-year-old Owen Clark.
That nigga Lamp. That nigga name is Lamp. Yo, this nigga is fucking ugly.
Was head of a huge drugs empire running cocaine from Jamaica to the UK. Trident.
Well, Diddy, like, that shit Diddy calling a nigga ugly. But sometimes you see a nigga, he be so ugly, you just be like, yo, that's an ugly nigga. It's Diddy to call a nigga ugly. But sometimes you see a nigga, he be so ugly, you be like, oh, that nigga is ugly as shit. That's him. Light bulb head, crib. Shorty?
Okay.
Alright, man, safety, man.
Reckoned he...
Huh?
I said, hopefully the boys ain't waiting around the corner for.
Call me if they is. Huh? Call me if they over there, if they fuck with you.
Cleared nearly £1 million a year. He treated himself to designer clothes, diamond jewelry, and expensive cars. Women flocked to him.
Big head ass nigga. You know he was getting money. Smart ass nigga. Nigga, extra head. They got 2 brains. Of course he was getting to the money. Big head ass nigga.
Designer clothes, diamond jewelry, and expensive cars. Women flocked to him. They may not have known where his money came from. Trident watched his empire for 3 years. Clark kept a distance from the drug dealing.
He was one of London's most notorious yardie gangsters, who was responsible for a plethora of shootings, robberies, assaults, and drug trafficking. He was arrested in 2003 and was given a 13-year sentence, and gun crime within the city fell. Years later, he would return to Jamaica. While living, he was still involved in crime and also organizing dance hall parties. One of his sons was involved in a serious altercation that led to immediate retaliation. One night, Father Foul was seen with a group of locals dancing. Then yardie gangsters made their way and executed him in front of onlookers. Afterwards, they robbed him of the jewelry and footwear he had at the time, while members of the public started recording his lifeless body. Some were even still dancing.
What? Damn. RP. My nigga light bulb. Damn. Niggas diluted him for some shit your kid did.
Smith, who went by the street name Kane, was born in London, England. It was reported that he was physically abused when he was a baby and from a young would participate in criminal activities. At the time he was in his teenage years, he had over 30 convictions for robberies and assaults. He was a known member of the notorious Muslove crew, located in northwest London, mainly from the Kensal Green district. He would often do favors for certain yardie gangsters in over London, such as drug deals, and having weapons such as knives and firearms. He made a lot of yardie gang connections across the city, from the late 90s to the early 2000s. Back then, Metropolitan Police were fighting yardie-related crimes due to so much escalating around that time. Going back to September 13, 2003, it would make one of Britain's darkest days ever. Both Tony Ann and Bertram were out shopping, having a normal day. Then later, they both made their way to his hostel in the Kensal Green area. Bertram was making drug deals inside his living room with other local dealers. Tony Ann even witnessed this. Hours later, during the night, the door was kicked in by a gunman who opened fire. Bertram did his best to fend for himself. He even used his bicycle as a weapon, but he was unsuccessful.
Damn.
He was shot a couple of times at point-blank range and subsequently died from his injuries. Tony Ann jumped out of bed to see what had happened due to the loud gunshots. She saw the gunman, so she attempted to run inside her bedroom. Now you would think, because of how young she was, the gunman would flee from the scene. But that wasn't the case. He openly shot her dead at point-blank range, all because she was a witness. This cold-hearted double order shocked the entire nation, as Operation Trident demanded.
Damn, son. Damn. Fuck. Oh, man, that's crazy. He could have let her go. He could have. Damn, son.
Answers and was hell-bent on finding the killer, due to how horrific these murders were. Tony Ann Byfield was the youngest person murdered during the current string of violence. The shooter was Kane. Many people at first didn't think it was him, due to the media labeling the gunman as a yardie gangster, despite being British. A lot of murders and criminal activities during this time in London, England, were often pinpointed at yardie gangsters, despite British gangsters committing most of the violent acts, and becoming worse than the previous yardie gangsters that arrived in the country during the mid-1980s to early 1990s.
We don't need to fight ourselves, we need to fight the enemy. We need to fight injustice. We need to fight oppression. We need to fight those things that hold us down, not fight ourselves.
I don't think the media did do their jobs properly. They was only interested in some bad story about my dad, so they could put it all over in the newspaper. And
see what I said? I said that in the beginning though. How they try to make the, you feel me? I don't be liking that shit.
that is what they basically did.
Why y'all do that?
All they had to say about my dad was he's been in prison and everything bad. They don't really try to get anything good. They never yet write, oh, he's a good father. The day before they died, he went to get Tony and school clothes for her to go to school. Nothing like that. They're just saying, oh, he was a drugs dealer, he got shot, It doesn't make sense.
A year later, after a wall of silence, someone called the police and stated it was Joel Smith that done it, and immediately hung up the phone. This caused Metropolitan Police to look into Kane, tracing his whereabouts and every move he made. Kane was going back and forth from London to Liverpool, making connections with local street dealers while trying to maintain a discreet profile. However, he would get caught up in another crime where he slashed the throat of his mom's partner. He was jailed for 3 years for his crime. One day in his cell, he confessed to his cellmate that he killed Tony Ann Byfield. He would be bragging about the double homicides to other inmates, thinking he was untouchable. Metropolitan Police dedicated numerous episodes towards the double homicide in an attempt to provoke Kane into confessing, because they knew he would be paranoid and confess his crimes either on the phone or someone else would be listening to his confession. And that's exactly what had happened. He made a phone call to his girlfriend and confessed that he was responsible for both Tony Ann and Bertram's murders. Now, despite speaking very cryptic, so he wouldn't be so blatant, it wasn't hard for the police to put the pieces together. It helped matters more when 2 other prisoners confessed to his crime. Kane was later taken into an interview room.
Well, they did that to a nigga in where I'm from. This shit happen all the time, but I know for sure that a nigga from where I'm from, he told on a nigga. My man got shot like 8 times before in the store, my block. And the nigga that did it got caught. So a nigga that got locked up with me on my drug sales, it was 34 of us. One of the niggas that got locked up, or 28 of us. One of the niggas that got locked up for selling drugs, like he wasn't with me, but we was on the same indictment. Nigga ended up telling, like, he went to jail. He was on the block with the nigga that shot my mans, and the nigga was telling him about it and shit. And that nigga went and told the district attorney to get some time off. Some crazy shit. Testified on the nigga and all that. Nasty work. That's why you do your dirt, bro. You just keep your mouth shut.
Where he tried to defend himself by stating,
niggas be trying to look tough in jail, trying to get brownie points and shit, bro. He was a dickhead.
that he was at Bertram's flat in Kensal Green early that same day they were killed. But it didn't work, and would later be found guilty of the double homicides. He was given a minimum of 40 years. This is one of the saddest London England has ever seen, and deserves more media coverage. This is why I made this video, to make sure that this story wouldn't be forgotten. This is the story of Tony Ann Byfield. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more content.
Shout out to Moon Man Mighty. Shout out to Moon Man Mighty.